Good morning, great Americans. It's another great American video. This is the triple whammy Thursday. I'm gonna start doing something new because there's so much happening. I'm gonna just for 1 or 2 minutes briefly touch on three topics every Thursday. Triple whammy Thursday. Here we go. First of all, Putin and Trump. So, of course, it was bound to happen that, Trump loves to. One of the funny things about Trump, and I personally find it very endearing, is he's prone to hyperbole, right? Everything is the biggest and the most beautiful and bigly and all that kind of stuff. And I get a kick out of it. But of course, the haters and the TDS sufferers, they try to use it against him. And it was inevitable that the TDS hate gang would use Putin against him because, a while back he had said he could stop the war in one day, and it hasn't happened. And so they're going to use that against him. But here's something important. You got to remember, this is very important. Trump says those kind of things because Trump comes from a business background, a corporate background, where he has made all kinds of $1 million and $1 billion deals. And he's a deal maker, man. He wrote a book, The Art of the Deal. But here's the thing you have to remember. In business, when two corporate heads or two corporate entities are coming together for some sort of meeting or to make a deal, both sides want to make a deal, right? Both sides, corporations and businesses do not go into those kind of meetings unless they want to make a deal. They have an interest in what's going on, and they're hoping to strike a great deal that works out good for them. So both sides go in wanting a deal, and this is what Trump is used to. You assume, right, that when you have a big meeting over a big issue, that both sides are interested in seeing a resolution to the. Well, here's the thing with Putin. He doesn't want the deal. He is pulling some bullshit propaganda game, probably to try and make Trump look bad. He comes over here, he comes to Alaska, he accepts the invitation, and all that kind of stuff, and then he turns around and screws Trump. Well, you know what? That's out of Trump's hands. Trump was correct. If the other side was actually interested in striking a real deal, a deal where, because a real deal is where everybody gets something and everybody loses something. It's called compromise, right? If Putin was actually interested in a deal, Trump would have struck one in a day. Not a problem. But you cannot account for a person who is just lying. It doesn't really want a deal. So Putin was just using these meetings for cover so he could keep doing his thing. And Trump's smart. He figured, he understood. In fact, they said it's reported that on Air Force One, after the Alaska meeting, on the way back to Washington, D.C., Trump was very angry. Yeah, there's been reports by people on the plane that Trump was very angry, and when Trump is angry, nobody gets any sleep. So apparently the Air Force One ride home from Alaska was not a very fun plane ride at all, because Trump was angry. And the reason he was angry is because he's a smart guy. He saw right through Putin. He said Putin's trying to play me. And he's pissed off about it. Now that's why he's starting to change his tactics. So it is not Trump's fault that he didn't strike a deal in 24 hours like he said he would, because you cannot account for the fact if the other side just flat out doesn't want to make a deal, or worse, the other side is coming to the meeting for the very purpose of pulling the wool over your eyes and making you look bad. You can't account for that. you assume when you're going to a meeting that both sides are actually want to cut a deal. So don't put that on Trump. Not Trump's fault. Trump is still the deal maker. He's still the author of Art of the Deal. Look at the proof is in the pudding. Look at all these fantastic trade deals and investment deals. It's just, it's absolutely amazing. Man, in a couple of years, when all that stuff starts to bear fruit, this economy is going to be just like rocket fuel, man. It's going to be a pretty. So that's that on Trump. That's number one. Number two of the triple whammy. This is not a current issue, but I just want to mention this because I heard somebody say this and it just kind of pissed me off. There are still haters and America haters, people on the left who mock and make fun about American exceptionalism. Oh, America's not exceptional. Forgive my pedestrian language, but fuck you, moron. You haven't got the first clue what you're talking about. Don't tell me America's not. America has done more than any nation in the history of the world. We have achieved more amazing feats, whether it's landing a man on the moon and other stuff, saving the world from fascism and the Japanese Empire. I mean, and for all the talk about slavery, we were actually the first nation to really end slavery, right? All these people who whine about American slavery, they forget that slavery was the norm. And frankly, it still is the norm in the Muslim world, but that's another topic. But we were really the first nation to bring it to an end. That's the part people forget. So, of course, we're an exceptional nation. But further than that, I would just, for those now, if you're not a believer in God, then I guess you're probably not going to understand this. But if you are a believer, you really have to think about the words of the Declaration of Independence. I mentioned this in my 4th of July video, and I just say again, the words at the beginning of when you put yourself back in 1776, this is a world without electricity. It's a world totally ruled by kings and queens and the czars in Russia and emperors and potentates in the Middle East, and there's no democracy or voting or was the world. And out of that world came these amazing, enlightened men who wrote, we hold these truths to be self-evident. Self-evident. In other words, it's just obvious to a thinking person by observing nature that what these truths we're about to say are just self-evident. That all men are created equal. Now remember, this is the world of kings and queens and often the caste system where you were either born into nobility or you were born into servitude. These men said all men are created equal. And they are endowed by their creator with certain unalienable rights. Rights! No such thing as rights in the world at that time. We have rights that come from God, and that is life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. These were such radical, enlightened, forward-thinking words at that time in that world that surely they were inspired by our Creator. These men, so, when you hear leftists and say, oh, America's not exceptional, or who was that asshole Cuomo who said America's never been, America, oh, what do you mean make America great again? America, remember that was going on for a while when Trump ran, and he said make America great again, and all those Democrats were saying America was never great. They're fucking losers, man. How can anyone vote for a Democrat when they say stuff like that? But no, these words, these inspired, amazing words, came from these great enlightened men, our founding fathers, in a world, as I just said, that was ruled by kings and queens and emperors. The idea that we're all equal under the law, and 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 our rights are not just given to us by some benevolent king or emperor. Our rights come from God. God made us with these inalienable rights, and it is the duty of government to protect the rights that God gave us. Yes, those were radical. So, of course, America is an exceptional nation. America is a shining city on a hill, inspired by God, that put power into the hands of the people. And of course, America is an exceptional nation. Don't ever let anyone, if anyone ever says it's not, you just challenge the fuck out of them. Because anyone who says it's not is usually just some sorry little pissant socialist. Doesn't know what the hell he's talking about anyway. So, sorry about that. That's not really a current issue, but that was number 2. And here's a super whammy Thursday, triple whammy Thursday, number 3. Are you ready for this? Oh, I lost my story. Oh, here we go. Number 3. Oh, I love this one. Washington, D.C., the Gateway Pundit, August 27th. Washington, D.C. Wait a second. D.C. Mayor Muriel Browser acknowledges the success of Trump's law enforcement surge in the city. Washington, D.C. Mayor Muriel Browser had positive things to say about Trump's law enforcement surge in the city, noting the drastic drop in crimes, most notably car dressing. Yeah, there's a drastic drop. The murders went to 0. It doesn't get any more drastic than that. Let's see here. This is sure to cause some anger on the left. Oh, you think so? She's going to get canceled, man. Well, there you go. I mean, at least she said the right thing. I mean, give her credit. I mean, she is a lefty and she is a moron, but you got to give credit where credit was due. She told the truth. Trump's DC suppression of crime is working. So anyway, this is sure to cause some anger on the left. This is precisely what most Democrats don't want to hear. They're still trying to run with the narrative that this was some sort of authoritarian takeover of the city. What they can't argue with is numbers, like the one Bowser is citing here. NBC News. Oh, NBC News, the home of MSNBC, which is now defunct and no longer, thank God for that. And MSNBC reported, I'm sorry, NBC News reported these following words by Mayor Muriel Bowser. We greatly appreciate the surge of officers that enhance what the MPD has been able to do in this city. The mayor, a Democrat, told reporters about the expansion of federal law enforcement. Carjackings, she said, were the most troubling crime that plagued DC in 2023, and they have decreased in recent years. See, she still had to throw in the fact, she still threw in the fake numbers that she claims crime was going down under her. But that's okay. She had to do that. So, but she said that in the 20 days since the federal takeover, there has been an 87% drop in carjackings compared to the same period last year. The data cited also showed a 15% fall in crime overall in the district. I noticed she didn't quite go so far as to mention the 0 murder number, but give her her due. So what can we say about Muriel Bowser, she's probably canceled, man. She told the truth, man. That's like lifting up a cross or garlic to a vampire, man. The truth and Democrats do not go together. And this woman spoke the truth, so poof, she's gonna be canceled, man. She's out of there. That's kind of funny. Anyway, so that's the triple whammy for today. Um, please remember to subscribe to our Substack page and look at our videos on Rumble. We got videos on, I put them on YouTube and stuff. I hate YouTube. And all of our videos are not on YouTube because they used to delete our videos. And because they're assholes and they're fascists. On Rumble, people are free to post any video. So I always ask people to follow our Rumble page and subscribe to the Substack page. And don't forget the theme. Our ongoing theme is Stay the Course. I'll put a link to that in the description of this video. Thank you very much, and I will see you in the next great American video. Adios, muchachos.